I now invite Caroline Redman Lusher to be presented for the degree of Doctor of Arts, honoris causa, and invite Tim France, Director of Performance, Music, English and Dance, to present this award.
Vice-Chancellor, esteemed faculty, proud loved ones, and most importantly, graduates. Today is a day of celebration, reflection and anticipation as we honour the achievements of our graduates and look forward to the future they will help shape. It is also a day to recognise and draw inspiration from a remarkable individual who embodies the very essence of creativity, innovation, and community spirit, qualities that are deeply cherished and promoted by the University of Salford. I am privileged to present Caroline Redman Lusher, an award-winning singer and musician and the creator and creative director of Rock Choir, as an honorary graduate. Caroline's journey is nothing short of extraordinary. She is the visionary behind Rock Choir, a pioneering force that has transformed the landscape of community singing in the UK. Through her dedication and creativity, Caroline has touched the lives of tens of thousands, fostering a sense of belonging, joy, and mental well-being through the simple yet profound act of singing together. PRS ex-chairman Guy Fletcher aptly described her achievement, stating, "Caroline has created a cultural musical movement in this country with Rock Choir. Her story is inspirational." The University of Salford prides itself on a commitment to innovative learning, inclusivity, and social impact. Caroline's work with Rock Choir aligns perfectly with our values. She has created a cultural musical movement that not only entertains but also supports the mental health and well-being of its members. Her entrepreneurial spirit and artistic excellence have set new standards in the music industry, earning her numerous accolades, including the prestigious Gold Badge Award and an honorary Doctor of Letters from the London College of Music. Rock Choir is more than just a choir. It is a vibrant community that Caroline personally oversees, ensuring every creative aspect, from the repertoire to the exciting events and opportunities offered to its members, is infused with her unique vision and passion. Caroline's innovative approach means anyone, regardless of their musical background, can join and experience the joy of singing without the need for auditions or the ability to read music. Her impact extends beyond music. Caroline's philanthropic efforts have raised millions for charities, enhancing the lives of countless individuals and reinforcing the importance of giving back, a core behaviour we encourage in our students. During the pandemic, when the world needed hope and connection more than ever, Caroline moved Rock Choir online, hosting numerous feel-good musical experiences and fundraisers, continuing to support members and the wider community. This adaptability and resilience showcase the forward-thinking mindset that we strive to instill in our graduates. Caroline's story is a testament to the power of passion, perseverance, and the impact one individual can have on society. Her ability to blend creativity with entrepreneurship has not only led to commercial success, but has also created a supportive community for individuals from all walks of life. This mirrors the University of Salford's strategic goal of creating environments where innovation thrives and diverse communities come together to support one another. The University of Salford's mission to transform lives, stimulate discovery and realise potential resonates deeply within Caroline's work. She has turned Rock Choir into a British success story, inspiring individuals and communities across the nation. Caroline's achievements include opening both the 2018 and 2019 BBC Proms in the Park performances in Hyde Park, London, as a soloist, accompanied by the BBC Concert Orchestra and, of course, the Rock Choir vocal group. These events, broadcast live and attended by 40,000 people, are a testament to her influence and talent. Her voice has contributed to over 1 million album sales, earning multiple gold and platinum certified sales awards from the British phonographic industry. Additionally, her distinctive vocals have secured chart positions, including 2 iTunes Christmas #1 spots. As you, our graduates, step into the next chapter of your lives, take inspiration from Caroline's journey. Embrace your passions, strive for excellence, and remember the importance of community and giving back. The world needs your talents, your innovative ideas, and your commitment to making a positive difference. Caroline, your achievements and contributions serve as a beacon of inspiration to us all. You are a proud alumni of our very own BA Hons Popular Music and Recording programme. You've embodied the core values of this degree through creative excellence, entrepreneurship, innovative learning, community and collaboration, personal and professional development, and cultural and social awareness. We are honoured to welcome you back into the University of Salford family and to celebrate your remarkable journey. Congratulations to the class of 2024, and thank you, Caroline, for reminding us of the power of music, community, and the unyielding human spirit. Vice-Chancellor, I present for Doctor of Arts, honoris causa, Caroline Redman Lusher.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by this university, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Arts, honoris causa. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Or Miss Jack.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you very much. Wow, it's emotional to hear all that being said. I wondered if it was really me that you were talking about. Thank you so much, and an amazing day to share with all of you. I sat where you are 29 years ago. I'm 50 this year. And it feels like yesterday that I was graduating like you, and I remember how difficult it was and how hard I had to work even to get on the degree. The BA Honours Popular Music and Recording, there were 2,000 applicants and 40 places, and I fought tooth and nail to get onto the course, coming from an all-girls school into an all-male environment. Actually, there were only 2 girls in the end on the course back in 1992. But of course got through to the end just like you have today, and celebrated just like today. And I loved the cheering that you gave for your family and for the staff and the experts on stage. Without them, we wouldn't have got through, would we, the degree. My family are here. My husband, Stuart, my little boy Hamilton, who was singing through part of that. He's 3 years old. My friend and publicist Louise, and my dad. My dad is here, he's 81. Dave, he sat here just like the parents here today, 29 years ago. And I wondered over the years whether he felt he should have been up here getting a degree for the effort he had to put in behind the scenes to get me through the 3 years, but also get me through life, really. He's been with me all the way through, rooting for me. Haven't you, Dad? Yes, nodding. You know, the effort that goes in behind the scenes, the money, the time, the worry, empty nest. Anyone experienced empty nest syndrome? No, you're all really happy that they've gone, okay. They might come back, you know. I particularly remember at the end of my first year on the music course, you had to pass various modules that you may drop moving into the second year, but you still had to pass. And acoustical engineering was one of the 4 subjects. I'm guessing you still study that in depth now, yes. And it wasn't my strong point. Maths and physics were pretty awful, actually, in my world. They still are now. That wasn't my area, but I had to pass this module to get through. And I remember I had to write it down. It was working out the reverberation time from a sound source in the middle of an angular room with different absorption materials. There's only a few laughing because it was, do you still do that? Oh my God. It's important. I remember looking at it going, oh no. I got my grade C in maths at GCSE and was thrilled to drop maths from my life forevermore. So my dad told me and promised me. And I rang him in that first year and said, you'll never believe it. I have to study advanced maths and physics to get through to the second year. And do you know what he did? And this is testament to why maybe he should get a degree, is he went out and bought the Guide to Acoustical Engineering. He read the book, and over the Easter holiday, he tutored me solidly so that I went back into the summer term and the exam to pass that exam. And do you know what? And I post-traumatic stress probably that I remember so much, but I got 98% in that exam. And I remember now. And he made a second promise to me, you'll never have to do it again, I promise. But do you know what? I remember standing in the middle of Wembley Stadium singing, and it was a nightmare being able to hear because of the reverberation. And I thought, there it is, it's come back to haunt me. So it does come in, I promise you, everything that you've studied will come in. But as I've turned 50 this year, my autobiography comes out in October, I've had time to look back over the years and the roller coaster that I've had, the huge highs in the music industry and inevitably the challenging low points that I've had to get through that made me stronger and more resilient as the time goes on. And that will happen for you too. There will always be balance, I find. You succeed in something and something's thrilling, and then you're having to deal with something else that is more challenging, but that shapes our character, doesn't it? That gets us through life in a better way. And music was always there for me right from the beginning. Apparently when I was in infant school, I used to stand up and sing the hymn to remind everyone how the song went. Slightly arrogant maybe at an early age, but they identified music was part of my world, and they put me onto the violin. I started learning the violin, much to the horror of my dad. Scraping the violin at 4 years old perhaps wasn't the nicest way to spend his evenings and weekends with me. Piano at 7, vocals, started learning opera at 10, but also at 10, Bonnie Tyler's Holding Out for a Hero was released. And I learnt to play it and sing it at the piano and entertain in assemblies, again, back at school. But also at 10, as I left to go on to secondary school, the trophies were given out at the end of the year. And as they announced the music prize, my whole class turned around to look at me, expecting. I sat there confident, thinking, well, I'll have to get up and collect my music prize. But no, they gave it to someone else. They gave it to Jenny Baumber. I looked her up recently. She's a child psychologist, which is very commendable, but I was right. I knew she wouldn't go into a career of music. How dare they? I'm going to write back to Dorridge Junior School after today and tell them what happened today. But that was a turning point at 10, because I knew that I wanted a record deal. I knew I was influenced by the late 70s and the 80s, the pop songs of that era. A lot of you probably here will recognise that era of the greatest songs. Well-crafted, beautiful songs that influenced me, and all the kind of hype and glamour of the pop videos that emerged with MTV in the early 80s. That was a huge influence of mine growing up. And by the time I got to 14, I lied my way into a Birmingham nightclub to get a job singing and playing the piano. I told them I was 21, and the lies lasted for approximately 2 years before they found out. I wasn't really doing it for the money. I was doing it because I wanted to get a record deal, and I wanted to try as hard as I could right from the beginning. So there I was. I got kicked out in the end of the nightclub and left in the car park with my PA system. My dad had to come and get me. But it was interesting a few years. Also classical violin and piano. I was in all those orchestras. And then it got to the degree, and I actually auditioned for quite a few classical degrees because I was a violinist, and then up popped this course here, popular music and recording, and I knew it was the one, and like I said, I had to fight to get on the course. Completed my 3 years, but I was lucky because I already had a plan. I had a plan to be a recording artist, and I don't know if all of you here have got a plan, and it's okay if you haven't. but hopefully you will know that you're going to work with the creative world, like I did. But I went straight into London, carried on my life as a lounge singer by then, singing and playing the piano in the Dorchester, the Lanesborough, Hyde Park Hotel opposite Harvey Nicks, and established myself in London so I could get a record deal. And I did session work, and I sang on the boats up and down the Thames. And 4 years on, my dad, he's a regular feature, Dad, aren't you? Glad you came. He came up to see me singing at the Lanesborough, which is the very posh hotel on Hyde Park Corner, opposite Buckingham Palace. And this was before the smoking ban, and the air was full of cigar smoke. And I could hardly see him over at the bar, because it was white in the bar. And I was singing at the piano, and there were all these men sitting around the piano with a great big cigar bowl, ashtray in the middle, smoking their cigars. And my dad said to me, "You're going to have to leave, you're going to have to quit, this isn't good for you." And actually, I had got asthma by then. And slightly embarrassed because I was entertaining men all night. The job had become quite seedy, and there was no record deal in sight. And he persuaded me to leave London, and I spent about a year down in Farnham by then, near Guildford, with them as a family, back with the family, licking my wounds really, because I was so committed to getting a recording contract, so committed to working in the music industry, and I felt by leaving London I'd failed. But within a year, I got a call saying, would I come and teach A-level performing arts? And I said, I've never taught in my life. And they said, you look like you could wing it, so we're all right with that. And I said, okay. And I fell in love with teaching. I fell in love with the students, the 16 to 18-year-olds. And I was presented with drama, dance, and music, the 3 art forms of performing arts. And what I found was those students who preferred dance and drama really couldn't cope with music at all. And it was these students who I had to work really hard with. And I developed a Wednesday lunchtime activity around the grand piano in the theatre foyer, where I would break down the pop songs I used to sing up in London, and I would teach them by rote, building their confidence, a group of just 16 students. And then I pushed them out in front of their peers to perform around the college to build their confidence leading to their exam, which they then passed. But they didn't have to read music, and they didn't have to sing alone. Those were the 2 key elements that persuaded them that this could work. After their exam that they passed, that choir became an activity, an official activity in the weekly timetable, and attracted 170 students in the end. And what was really fascinating was my teacher friends were saying to me, these kids, their grades are going up. And then a parent would say to me, my daughter's much more chatty and happy. It's something to do with what you're doing with them in the choir. I was on a high every Wednesday. I look forward to it every Wednesday. And in the end, after a performance we did, a very glamorous performance of Motown songs, one of the mums came up to me and said, can't you do one for us? And that was all I needed to spark the idea to leave my job as a full-time teacher and set up what has become Rock Choir. And I put a poster in my local cafe and I said, no auditions and no need to read music. Called it Rock Choir. My mum came up with that. Not you, Dad, it was Mum. And in 40 chairs I put out in the hope. Remember, I quit my job. Everything was on the line. I had a mortgage by then. And 70 people arrived from my local community. No one knew one another, but by the end of an hour and a half of singing Oh Happy Day, they were on their feet, crying, hugging one another, some of them claiming that they'd been told at school that they would never be able to sing in the choir. They were out of tune in the car with their kids complaining in the back, singing in the shower. Here was a platform for them where they could actually enjoy pop songs, and Rock Choir began, and that was in 2005. In 2009, I had 1,000 members. I'd taken on my first musician locally who'd just graduated, and I trained her for a year to work with me. I didn't quite know still what was happening in terms of the mental health and the well-being of singing back then, but I asked her to shadow me, and then we replicated my choirs and opened more choirs. And in 2009, the Telegraph got hold of what I was doing and published a small piece. Swiftly after, was contacted by a journalist who wanted to do a 2-page spread in the Sunday Times Culture magazine. They called Singing is Believing. It's a totally new concept to introduce the public to contemporary singing without any pressure on them to sing alone. Very quickly after the Culture magazine came up, I was invited to go on BBC Breakfast. This was when BBC was down in London, back then in 2009. And I went up to London frightened about the couch interview. You know, what would I wear on that red couch? Which way would I swing my leg to look as thin as I could without, you know, gaining the 10 pounds that you gain when you go on camera? And then there was a disaster because Obama had arrived in the UK for the first time. And the editor said to me behind the scenes, listen, we're waiting to go live to 10 Downing Street. We want to capture Obama coming out of the door. We might have to cut your interview. And I said, listen, you can't. I've built myself up. The whole of Rockchoir are watching at home. And I said, listen, there's someone coming on to talk about Botox after me. Can't you switch us and then cut her? And she said, what a great idea. And my plan worked. The Botox woman got cut. She was left in the green room. Who needs Botox, huh? And I got my interview at 9:10 instead of 9 o'clock, and it was brilliant. It was really, really excellent interview. And as I left and went home with my husband to Waterloo train station, I got a message on my phone. It was an unknown number, and it said, this is Universal. We'd like to talk to you. But it was signed off a very strange name at the end, and of course it would be. It was the 1st of April. It was April Fool's Day that day, and I thought, oh, I'm being had. So I started to type, look, I don't know who you are, and got on the train, and our music lawyer rang to say, well done, he'd been watching it, and Stuart happened to mention this message. And just as I went to press send, Stuart said, stop, this guy is real. He is from Universal, don't send a message back. And I quickly deleted and said, hi, it's so lovely to hear from you. Anyway, they travelled down the next day. It was the commercial director of Universal. And overnight, we all decided they were going to make a movie about Rockchoir. And we were all choosing who would we be in the movie. But no, when I sat down, it was actually Decca who came, Decca Records, the A&R. And out of the blue, after all those years of wanting a record deal and all those years of realising that actually Rockchoir was my plan A in life all along, there I was, presented with a 4-album record deal. And I got the very thing that I'd worked so hard for all my childhood and teenage years and degree came to me anyway, but because I'd created something spectacular for the general public and for the community. And actually, since then, we're now at 33,000 members, 400 rehearsals around the UK. We have 3 Guinness World Records, although one has been stolen off me by India. So I'm going after them as soon as possible. But it really is, it's a wonderful thing to wake up every morning and use your creative skill to change people's lives. And I'm forever touring the country to meet the Rockies and hear their stories and sing with them. And they often queue at the end to tell me their story. They're often crying in my arms, telling me that Rockchoir's changed their life. It's brought their sparkle back. I had a chap, he was a husband. He came over to me at breakfast. They were all staying at the same hotel as I was, it turned out, in Torquay when I was on tour doing a show. And he knelt down in front of me. I thought he was going to propose. So did everybody else in the restaurant. But he started crying, holding my hand, saying that I'd brought his wife back to him, that his wife was so broken from things that had happened to her through her life. But by being in Rockchoir, he was seeing the sparkle in her eyes again. So you see, you know, bringing music to people's lives has huge rewards, and to see it, people changing in front of you because of what you're doing is just, you couldn't want for more, you know. And you've got that ability now. You've got your ticket now. You've got your degree. You can get ahead and move forwards in the creative world and make an impact and look after everyone. And actually, as I come to the end, I was told to keep it short. I do like to talk, though, can you tell? I was trying to think, you know, if it was me sitting there 29 years ago, what advice would I give? What key things would I want to hear? And apart from telling you my story and saying to you that, you know, that your journey can change and you need to be flexible, you need to accept that sometimes things won't necessarily go the way you think, but you may get there in the end. It took me 14 years to get that record deal when I left uni. I assumed it would happen in a year. I was very committed to it, and I had to bend and I had to move through life, and I got it anyway. But one piece of advice would be to look after your mental health, look after your well-being, and also look after your body, because you only have one of them. If you lose that, you can't do much at all, I'm afraid. And also, the biggest thing to tell you is people. People make the world go round. It's not money, it's people. And I suggest that you communicate and bond with as many people as you can, and I mean in person, not texting or emailing. Actually get in front of people and find your people, the people who are rooting for you. Your people will probably already be in the room, the people who have got your back, the people who love you, who would do anything to help you. There won't be many who've got your back through your whole of your life, but I've got my gang here, and I know they've got my back. And I suggest that the people are going to be the ones who give you the breaks, the ones who help you move through life, give you that step up when you need it. And they're going to be so valuable to you. So as I come to the end of my speech, congratulations again. It really is a huge honour to be with all of you and share today and be back at my university. It's emotional. The new bond that we've got, where I'm hoping I will pop up quite a lot to come and support future students. Anyway, thank you again for listening to me, and congratulations. Have a great day.